another installment of He Said,
She Said.
we gonna get that right. We want to welcome you back. He Said, She Said is a show that is designed to answer your questions, your situations, to give you a female and a male perspective on whatever you're going through. And remember, we are not doctors, we're not lawyers, we're not psychiatrists. We are just here to impart some information and some spiritual insight on your situation. Pastor JT, welcome.
Hey, it's good to be back. It's good to be back. Welcome, everybody. As Lady Phoenix said, that He Said, She Said.
Hope you had a good day today.
It's been, you know what? It's been a phenomenal day so far. You know, we really hoping and praying that everybody listening and watching has had a phenomenal day and that God has richly blessed you on this day.
Great. I just want to take a moment, if you don't mind, just to say thank you to everyone who sent words of condolences or whatever in the passing of my mother. Um, and, life goes on. And we are yet trusting God in everything that we do. So, having said that, our situation or question um, for this segment kind of hits home. But it says, I was adopted and didn't find out until I was 19 by accident. Looking for my birth certificate, I found mine and my sister's adoption papers. Once I spoke to my mother about it, she asked me not to tell my sister, who was also adopted and not my biological sister, which I haven't. That was 26 years ago. Since then, I have met my biological family, and when my 15-year-old son was killed, they were all at the funeral. They sat in the back and was not acknowledged. I am tired of all of this, the lies and the sneaking. Should I tell my sister? I believe I should. Since then, my mother has passed away, but I did promise her on her deathbed that I would not tell. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
26 years. Long time to hold a family secret. A lot of problems start from hiding stuff and especially family secrets. And this hits close to home because I was adopted and I found out by accident that I was adopted. But I did get the opportunity to have a conversation with my mother, and she answered the questions for me. Um, I think a lot of times when people are dying or people are hurting, that we tend to say things or even put ourselves in situations just to make them feel better, not realizing that we have to deal with the consequences after it's over.
That's true. That's true. Oftentimes, I really believe uh, that what we call deathbed promises
Mm-hmm.
are not really fully thought all the way through.
Right.
And like I said, a lot of times we say things while a person is in a transitional period. We say it to really make them comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
But in this particular instance, um, that's a bad promise to be made.
Yeah. And in reading the email, apparently, well, it says they're not biological sisters. It just, I think there's a whole lot of things that could go wrong here. Um, the one sister that already knows and has had 26 years of knowledge, she's had the opportunity to meet her family, to interact with her biological family. With the other sister who does not know, has lost those 26 years. So if you tell her at this point, there's possibly going to be some resentment from her to you because you didn't tell her. Then there's going to be some resentment from possibly her to her mother, who is no longer here, who can't answer certain questions for her. And it just opens up a whole another Pandora box of possible situations.
Absolutely, it definitely is going to open up a box of issues. And like you said, unnecessary resentment on a couple different ends.
Yeah.
Questions that could be answered. Older people used to have a theorem about taking things to their grave, and they literally did that.
Yeah.
And a lot of the secrets that they took to their grave could very well stop or at least slow down a lot of the things that other people have to endure, all because they decide to take something to their grave. And it really a lot of times boiled down to the matter of they kept this secret so they wouldn't hurt another person's feelings. But sometimes our feelings need to be hurt in order to really save our life. Now, in this instance, what would have happened if the sister would have ended up dating someone that's actually her brother? Situation could have totally been avoided if the truth, there it is. The record of God even goes as far as to say, and ye shall know the truth. The truth shall make you free. So it's important that we know the truth. I definitely feel, even though there was a conversation held while the mother was in her transitional period, that sister owes it to her sister, whether it's her adopted sister, her biological sister, her spiritual sister. She owes it to her to let her know the truth.
That's true. That's true. And in today's world, you touched on something, how older folks used to take stuff to their grave. But in today's world, there is so much we need to know. Um, Medical histories, things like that. That was one thing. I was dealing with some medical issues, and it becomes, to me, it was almost embarrassing to go to the doctor and the doctor asked me my family history, and I didn't know it. So when certain things come up in our lives, we need to know where they stem from, what runs in our family. We're talking about, breast cancer, diabetes, all of these things that affect our lives, and we need to know our family history. But 26 years that now she can say that you have robbed her of because of a promise that you made to your mother. I know that's a hard thing. I mean, you make a promise to your mom. You don't want to break promises to your mom, your dad, or whatever. But I think, personally, I think in this situation, having been adopted, I think the conversation needs to be had, but you need to be prepared for some fallout.
I would like to illuminate this thought. The mere fact that this young lady wrote in about this lets us know that the issue literally bothered her.
Yeah.
Okay? And anytime something bothers you, you should seek for results that will give you some ease and some comfort. And because she wrote in about this, it lets us know that, yes, this issue bothers her. So I want to encourage this sister right now that, yes, you should have the conversation with your sister. The information that you now hold could very possibly save your sister from some heartache, some pain, and some agony that may be in her very near future. So I would not hesitate. I would call my sister and say, hey, we need to talk, and it's urgent. And I would share the information that I have, the information that you've gotten from your mother. I would share that with my sister, and prayerfully, she will understand why you held back on this information for such a long time. But as with anything, before you go into the conversation, naturally pray, and pray that God grants you a peaceful transition in your conversation. Mm-hmm. So again, the fact that you wrote in lets me know that, yes, it's bothering you. And anytime something is bothering you, it's going to have effects as to where you're going to have a messed up sleeping pattern, unnecessary headaches and worries. All of that stuff falls on you when something is troubling you. So in order to get this thing off of you, Yes, definitely have the conversation. Older people, again, they felt as if that they would be protecting us by holding things from us. But we must realize that we are no longer children. We are adults. So there are things in our life that we want to understand, that we should understand, and that we literally have the right to understand. Your sister might actually be struggling with her true identity because she does not know who she really is. She does not know her real and her true bloodline. And you should give her that information so she can, one, actually find herself.
That's true. Um, and also prepare yourself for her reaction. You know, you've got to give her time to process it. It's just not one of those things you tell somebody and expect them to be okay with it. So I would encourage you, being on the other side of it, whatever reaction she gives you, give her time to process it. But don't stop supporting her. Don't walk away from her because she may be angry at you. Let her work through that. But as sisters, you were raised as sisters in the same household, so you are sisters. So be sure to give her that sisterly support and that sisterly love. I have four half sisters, as we call them, and three brothers. There are times that they are my, they are my support system. We were not raised in the same household, but because of secrets, and Pastor
Yes.
JT touched on it, because of secrets, because of, you know, not wanting to hurt people's feelings, or it's just something that happened in the family. Now everybody can't know about it. I found myself in the same situation, dating a first cousin, um, because people were not talking. There are some things that we do need to be quiet about, but there are some things that we need to sit down as adults and have these conversations. Uh, I'm still finding out, I'm in my 50s and still finding out about family members. And you have to understand, when we find out later on in life um, about an adoption, it puts us in a place. For me, I kind of backed off of dating and all of that just because of the unknown. I don't know who all of my people are, so it puts a whole nother set of pressure on you. But having the information allows me to ask the right question. Now it's important that I know who your family is, where are you from. That's my, I have to know all of that before the relationship goes any further. But I think after 26 years, it's time to have a conversation with your sister. It's time to let her know. I think your mother, uh, I would go as far to say, would be forgiving of it, because we don't know the situation in which she found herself having to make the decision to keep it quiet.
That's accurate. I would like to share this. Um, and when you have the conversation, and I know this may sound a little funny, but it would behoove you to actually have the conversation in person
Yeah.
versus email
Yeah.
or even over the phone.
Or text.
So, yes, or text. So, I mean, it's a very important conversation. And like I said, above all, you want your sister to know that you support her.
Yeah.
And let it be known that, it was a request of your transitioning mother that be held. But after 26 years, you're dealing with over 2 decades of holding information that could possibly be the key of setting someone else free.
Yeah.
So you do not want to do and keep that trend going of taking this vital information to your grave, because we already understand and we know that once you transition from here, there's nothing that you can say that a person can really grab. So love your sister.
Yes.
And treat and entrust her as a sister, and go to her as a sister. You know, hey, this and this is going on, and I have something that I need to share to you. Oftentimes in relationships, whether they're man, woman, brother, sister, parents, a phrase that we don't like to hear is, we need to talk. And a lot of times we don't like to hear that phrase, because the phrase "we need to talk" usually signifies that there's some bad information that I must share with you. So we really got to jump the hurdle of being scared of the phrase "we need to talk," or "we need to have a conversation." We need to be able to say, okay, whatever this thing is, it's pressing you to the point that you must share it. It's kind of like if you take a 2-liter bottle and fill it up with hot water. If you fill it up with hot water and shake it up, that bottle is going to start to expand. And if you keep shaking it, keep the pressure on it, sooner or later it's going to burst. And when it bursts, in other terms, it's going to give you high blood pressure, sugar, diabetes, fall into depression. All kinds of things begin to happen because we are holding in things that were not designed to be held in. So for the benefit of your relationship with your sister and for your own personal benefit, I would definitely share with her in a very sisterly way, not only the information, but why you've held it this long. And then we leave it in God's hands. But until you do that, you're still going to feel down. You're going to feel pressure until you literally tell your sister what it is that you have to say. This is vital information. It could really hold the key to some medical issues. It could hold the key to why she acts a certain way. A lot of times what we found is there are some things that's called hereditary. And the things that are hereditary, they're in your blood, and you just cannot help it. So the information that you hold may literally give your sister the answers that she really needs.
And you know, she may have been struggling with something. She may have already recognized throughout her life that there is something different about her and about herself, and not knowing where it comes from. And like Pastor JT said, you hold the key to her answers. But just make sure that you are supportive of her, and whatever the outcome is, don't let her go. Work through it and pray about it, and just keep God in the midst. I'm sure it will work out for the good. Pastor JT.
Absolutely. Yes.
Well, that's our situation, if that's what you want to call it. I don't know, for this week. If you have a situation that you would like for us to discuss, you can email it to us. The email is down below, or you can inbox it to us, and we will jump on that. Pastor JT, any final words?
My final thoughts is, listen, no matter what you're going through, don't forget that God has not forgotten about you. He's there, he's willing, and he's able not just to see you through, but to walk through it with you. And we want you to be encouraged that no matter what's going on, just know that you're going to make it.
Amen. And that's the episode of He Said, She Said. Remember, on the other side of your problem is your promise. Be good to each other, continue to love each other, and we'll see you next time on He Said, She Said.
She said.